Welcome, baseball fans, to Game 6 of the World Series. Washington Nationals at Houston Astros. And this has been quite an unprecedented World Series. Never before in Major League history has the road team won every single game. But here we are. End of Game 6, series is tied 3-3, and the road team has won all 6 of them. Washington taking Game 1 and Game 2 in Minute Maid Park, Houston, Texas. Then Houston taking all 3 games in Nationals Park, Washington, D.C. Coming back in a return to Houston Astros, Minute Maid Park. The Washington Nationals, once again, win on the road, tie the series up at 3-3, and if you look at my Game 5 review, I called it that it was going to go to a Game 7, one way or the other. And here's a couple of factors here. Not only do you have an unprecedented streak here of road teams winning, but also keep in mind, Justin Verlander's history in the World Series has been abysmal. He's 0-6 after this game. He was 0-5 going into Game 6, now he's 0-6. This is the same felt. Now, I didn't want to mention that in the Game 5 review because fundamentally, that can always blow up in your face. I could have said the same thing last year in the ALDS when David Price had never won a postseason game until he completely obliterates the New York Yankees in the ALDS, helping them to win the World Series championship. So, never having done it before doesn't mean it won't happen. In this case, however, the storyline for Justin Verlander remains true. He's a phenomenal postseason pitcher. He's a phenomenal regular season pitcher. But his Achilles heel seems to be World Series games. And it's true to point that he is obviously a very highly talented pitcher because he managed to pitch in 6 World Series games. How many pitchers can say they have started 6 different World Series games? I mean, you're only going to get at most 2 per World Series, with the exception being the Madison Bumgarner, but I digress. Most pitchers will only see 2 games in the World Series. To go 6 means you've now been in 3 different World Series in pursuit of championships, and he's gotten 1, but he missed the first one. Now this is a 3rd chance here. I mean, he's been in the big show so many times. It's a great credit to his accolades. Having said that, speaking of accolades, Steven Strasburg does an absolutely phenomenal performance. Goes 104 pitches, goes 8 1/3 innings, goes 2.51 ERA, 2 earned runs, and 7 strikeouts. At 104 pitches, you really wondered if he could have finished that off. Because fundamentally, Doolittle goes 2.2 innings, 0 earned runs, 0 strikeouts. Yes, he was tired. Yes, he was in the game. And yes, they wanted to seal it in. But at a 7-2 lead, you could have taken your chances a little bit. At the same time, Martinez had been thrown out of the game, and the bench coach, acting manager, wasn't going to take any chances and brought him out after the first out in the 9th inning with runners on, and gave Doolittle a chance to just seal the deal, close that one out, and move on to Game 7 there. I don't blame him, but I still think it would have been absolutely incredible to see Strasburg having gone to a complete game. He certainly was showing the acumen to do so. Justin Verlander, however, on the flip side, goes 5 innings, 5.73 ERA. Yes, part of that is from Game 1's defeat at the hands of Scherzer there. But he gets up in 3 earned runs to his own right. In this game, 3 strikeouts over 5 innings. Now, the bullpen was not quite as locked down as they had been in previous games. And burning through a lot of bullpen pitchers, you wonder how fresh they are. In this case, you got Peacock, Harris, Presley, and Devesky going 4 innings, getting 5 strikeouts, and giving up 4 earned runs on top of the 3 Verlander gives up. Thus, your 7 runs for Washington. And we'll go into all the details of how that all broke down, but I remember giving Presley a hard time throughout the postseason, and fundamentally, of all the pitchers for Washington, he's the only one to blank his start. 0 earned runs, so hats off Presley. He did a good job, better than all your counterparts in this particular game. Unfortunately, the rest of your counterparts didn't really help you, seal the deal tonight. In any event, the game, because Houston has home field advantage, Washington starts off the series, and in the first inning, Rendon gets a single, 1-0 Washington. And you're thinking to yourself, okay, it's only one run, but it's setting a precedent. They scored first. And in this whole series, it seems to be that when you score first, you have a far higher probability of your pitching coming through, of your hitting coming through, and setting a tone for the game. And that certainly was the case here. Granted, Houston comes back in the bottom of the first, and a sacrifice fly from Jose Altuve, 1-1 tie. Then Bregman, a nice little solo shot, 2-1 Houston. At this point in time, you're thinking, okay, 2-1 game. Both pitchers have yielded a run or more. Now, it's not crazy blown out yet, so let's see what happens here. I'm not giving any favoritism one way or the other toward either team. Both have the ability to break out. All comes down to how the rest of the innings go. Does Houston capitalize on this and continue pounding away at Strasburg? Does Strasburg hold it down and the lineup break through? They've had trouble scoring in Washington, but they didn't have trouble scoring in Houston in Games 1 and Game 2. So, can they take a 2-1 deficit and do something with it? In the second inning, they both go blanks. No score on either side of the second inning, so I'm thinking going into third, fourth, fifth. It's a nice little 2-1 game here. The score is holding up, which means somebody's going to break, and it's just a matter of when. And given the fact that it's a one-run game and nobody's taking advantage of anybody, it's still anybody's game. And given the fact that you're no longer in Washington, and given what happened in Game 1 and Game 2, in Minute Maid Park, anything is possible in this case. The Washington Nationals have definitely performed better on the road in Minute Maid Park than they did in Nationals Park. However, having said that, this is also Houston's home park. This is their home crowd, and their lineup is geared towards demolishing their competition in their own turf. So, it lasts all the way to the fifth inning when Eaton hits a solo shot to tie the score up at 2-2. Then Soto follows up with a home run of himself to give him a 3-2 lead. Now, we still have a one-run game, but now it's 3-2 in favor of Washington. And now you've put the Astros on defensive, especially considering the fact that Justin Verlander does not survive past the fifth inning. He comes out, they take him out. Peacock does the sixth inning, the seventh inning, the eighth, and the ninth, and things unravel on their own accord. 3 runs, however, means that unless Houston's able to score more than the first 2 runs they got in the first inning, he's pretty much on the hook for the loss in this game because he gave up 3 runs. He also didn't go 6 innings, but went 5, so it still qualifies for what would have been a win if he'd gotten the run support. But he doesn't get it in this game. 3 runs over 6 innings is still technically considered a quality start. But what we've seen in this playoffs time and time again is you can have a quality start against an outright domination on the other side, and it just doesn't matter anymore. In regular season, you take your quality starts as often as you get them. In the playoffs, wins matter a lot more. They're the whole enchilada here. So, in the 7th inning, Rendon gets a 2-run shot to give a nice little cushion there, 5-2 lead. And the interesting thing is I've been hearing a lot about the Trey Turner call, and I get it. It's highly controversial. He runs down the line right at first base, and Gurriel bobbles the catch, loses his glove, and they're calling interference on the first baseman. I get it. It looks clean. However, consider this. The ball is right along the third baseline, and you're throwing it towards first base. Gurriel only has so much room to work with, and according to the baseball rules as dictated by Joe Torre, Senior Vice President of Baseball Operations for Major League Baseball, the rules do state there is a little line strip there, a little line like 40 feet before first base, and you're supposed to be on the foul side territory where you're running along, and your foot's supposed to tag on the fair side and keep on going, allowing plenty of room for the first baseman to make a play. Whether or not you agree with the rule or not, when Martinez absolutely lost it in that call, I completely understand how passionate he was about it. I completely understand how it could be interpreted as he got robbed. I get it. It was an opportunity for Trey Turner to set up an inning and to break open the game. They don't know that Rendon is going to hit a 2-run homer later in the series to really break it open, or the double in the ninth to make it 7-2. Right now, all you have is a 3-2 lead. The whole series, the whole season is on the line here, and Martinez just absolutely loses it. I get it. He's passionate. At the same time, it's not a reviewable call, because just like stealing bases, it's a judgment call by the umpires, and they call it interference. And I've spoken to some umpires, friends of mine, and they said in a heartbeat they would have called him out, because fundamentally you have that little strip there in which you're supposed to be running in, and he was in fair territory. So you can make the same argument for football about pass interference and things of that nature. The rules are what they are. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it didn't actually impact the game. And I'm sure the Nationals fans are elated by the fact that it had no actual impact on the game. So that brings us to a 7-2 win, tie series 3-3. Now you have Scherzer versus Greinke going in Game 7. What I find absolutely fascinating about this is instead of Scherzer going Game 5 and going toe-to-toe with Garrett Cole, who emptied the tank and gave every bit the kind of quality start this team in Strasburg gave in this game, we have no idea how well Scherzer would have done, who would have won that game. But you do know that now that we're going into a winner-take-all, one-game showdown, Game 7, having Scherzer on the mound for the Nationals, you couldn't have asked for a better setup. Hopefully the corner shot worked as well as Scherzer claims it does, and he'll be able to play a full, strong game. Zach Greinke has been less than fortunate in this postseason, and he's also 0-1 from getting shelled in this in his start earlier this game. He went, I believe, Game 1 against, it wasn't Anibal Sanchez, wasn't Corbin, I believe it was against Scherzer or Strasburg. Yeah, Scherzer in Game 1, I believe it was. This is it was Scherzer versus Cole, I believe, in Game 1. So in any event, Greinke has had known to have, he's a phenomenal regular season pitcher, but how good of a postseason pitcher he is, that story is still being written. And tonight is going to be a huge spotlight on Greinke to see how well he can perform in a spotlight. I would absolutely call this a bullpen game. I think both of them are phenomenal pitchers and can do a great job. I do see, on a starter perspective, that Scherzer is likely to edge Greinke on a performance of the starter, either going more innings, allowing fewer runs, better ERA, something. He's going to edge out Greinke. I'm going to go ahead, and for the purposes of Game 7, I think it would be, honestly, whoever has the edge and whoever I think is going to win aside, I think it's been absolutely an amazing storyline to see the anomaly of the road team winning in every single game. And I think it would make a fascinating storyline and a lot of fun for baseball fans to talk about for years to come if the road team were able to finalize and wrap up this series. So, for the sake of entertaining the anomaly and the unprecedented nature of the road team winning every single game, I'm going to go ahead and pick the Washington Nationals to take Game 7. I want to know what you think about what I think in the comment section below. I'll be happy to. I'm looking forward to providing a review of Game 7, break down everything that happened, and then from there, we'll do our bracket update to discuss how the playoffs unfolded, and we can do all our rewards, hot stove, free agents, all that wonderful fun off-season stuff. I'm looking forward to bringing it all to you throughout the off-season. In the meantime, enjoy Game 7, Wednesday evening, 8 p.m. 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time. It's going to be a wonderful show, and it's winner take all at this point. It's just like the wild card game, except it's Game 7 of the World Series, and this is every little kid's dream to be able to play a Game 7. We'll see if it's as dramatic as some of these have been. Either way, this has been an absolutely exciting postseason for all baseball fans. And even if my own favorite team has been long gone from the playoffs, I've had a great deal of fun watching Washington and Houston duke it out. I'm looking forward to seeing Game 7. So, look forward to bringing to you this Game 7 review after the series is over. Until then, please leave your comments in the section below. Let me know what you think about what I think. If you just happen to be coming across this video on YouTube, please like and subscribe. It greatly helps the channel. And as always, thank you for watching.